Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is yet another episode, the Lighthouse Podcast. Zimeanza kukua mingi na tunakuwa mapro pole pole. Ama ni kuzoea.
We're still learning.
We're still at it. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. How are you feeling, Steffi?
I'm good. It's a new year.
Yeah.
Very hopeful that things will work out well this year.
Yes.
So happy New Year to everyone who's watching us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is the first podcast that we are shooting after we got into 2025.
Yes.
Quite an optimistic year. Na inakimbia mbio sana. It's running very fast.
Yeah. Our January is almost done. Yay.
It's not done. January has 90 days.
We're on 80.
So you still have more to go to.
Okay.
This is another podcast that we are going to talk about a very sensitive matter. Very sensitive in marriage, and as people get into building marriages, financial management, quite sensitive. It's one thing that people do not like to talk about, and it also is one of the biggest causes of divorce, listed as one of the main causes of divorce. Fortunately, with us is someone who wears. You told me not to say caps. You told me to say what? Hats. She does not wear many hats, but she has many accolades in the financial sector. I know she's a guru. This is your area. So today you're going to floss and flow and
remember when we are starting, we said we do not have specific introductions of exactly who we are. So for today, let me wear that hat of the finance coach, and I hope that we'll be able to inspire some of our viewers and hopefully make a difference in their lives.
Sure.
Yeah.
So our aim or the goal of this podcast today is to try and unpack common causes of financial disagreements and try to offer some practical solutions and strategies that people can foster as they try to bring harmony in marriage.
Yeah.
So I think let's try to understand the root causes. What do you personally think are the root causes of financial disagreements?
Well, I think finance is very wide, and we start learning about money from when we are toddlers. So you hear your small child telling you, give me something to buy some sweets, and that's when you start knowing about money. And I think part of the root causes of these financial struggles is where we are coming from, like your background. How were you raised? And how were you discussing the issues around finance when you were growing up? Then now when you come into marriage, how you are discussing them would actually inform how you handle finances in marriage. And I think one of the main root causes is that, historically, how have you been addressing issues finance? And I think so many couples would actually share with us that sometimes my priorities are not your priorities. Not because any of us is trying to show the other that their needs are very small, but actually I do not consider that as a priority, because maybe where I come from, I can use an example of, we're just coming out of the Christmas season and the festive season. Probably where I come from, we used to do holidays over the Christmas into the New Year season. But for you, the priority is school fees.
Yeah.
Both of them are quite important, but how do you address it? Yeah. So such things would actually cause financial struggles.
Yeah. So I also understand there are many couples who struggle with this as a result of the background, like you said. If you're raised in a family setup where the understanding is that the man is the sole provider, then it means the lady is going to just sit and wait.
Yes, and in such situations, unfortunately, I don't know, but from the people I've spoken to, majority of them actually say the man is usually hit by a challenge in finances once you get married. And why am I saying this? Say you've gotten married today, and now you start planning your life, that this is where we'll stay, this is where we want our children to go to school, and then something happens, and probably that job that was there is lost for some reason, or the income is reduced, like we had recently changes in our taxation and everything, so income is reduced from level A to B, and you just don't know how to handle that. So probably because of those instances, you find that one spouse ends up earning more than the other.
So like in this case specifically, when a woman earns more than the man, it sometimes becomes a problem.
Yes.
Very big problem in marriage. There are people who have not been raised in the setup to believe that a woman can actually earn more than a man, and people still respect each other. The man still has the position as the head of the home. Quite troublesome.
Yeah, because probably you're coming from a place of my money is my money as ladies, and we hear that a lot, and your money should be ours. So when you tell me to make my money yours as well, there becomes a problem. So I think these are conversations that you should actually start having them at the point of maybe even courtship, before you actually decide that you're getting married. Now have that discussion.
That's a very serious issue, you know. But I think we need to have one episode very soon for some misconceptions that people have of marriage before they get married. So one thing that right now has made, I don't want to say uptick, staying with the financial person makes you use financial terms. Marriages are not many nowadays, or uptake, like I said. Many people do not get married right now very quickly or easily. And one of the main reasons which young people are citing, they are saying they are still not financially stable.
Yes.
And when you talk to ladies, young ladies who want to get into marriage,
they're looking for a financially stable man.
Yes.
So
financially
when are we financially stable?
Yes,
you know.
So it's a serious issue when it comes to marriage. That stability causes a lot of turmoil and problems.
But I think as a communication person, I would want to challenge you on this and ask you, what is financial stability? How do you define that now? This man is financially stable, or from the man's perspective, how does he get to a place of saying, now I am financially stable?
Someone who earns 6 figures, someone who drives a BMW, X what? I don't know. Name them.
So the highest X, you know.
So I don't know how many of those young men exist. I think it's a serious problem, because when you can get married to someone who, according to your eyes, you think they are financially stable at this point, when you look at face value, this man looks like they have it all.
And that's where
when you look at this person at that point, they look very stable to you.
From face value.
From face value. They actually employed in the biggest companies we know, people who pay well, Kina Deloitte, PwC, those big names, multinational companies.
We are assuming they pay well, because we actually don't know.
Let's assume they pay well. Then you get into marriage, it's quite rosy. You manage to go for honeymoon to the Maldives, the best of places. After 1 year, unfortunately, the guy gets sacked.
Or COVID happens, something similar to COVID.
Yes.
There becomes some job cuts, and unfortunately you're one of the people who get hit. Yeah, but I would want to take you back slightly. That's where now we as financial consultants or people who are in finance would come back to demystify what financial stability means. In the books, it will mean what you just explained, but then financial stability should actually be that place where you feel I'm able to handle my needs.
Exactly.
Yes. your food, your clothing, your transport to work or transport to wherever, shelter for you and your family, that person is stable. It doesn't mean stability is the car, because someone will be driving those big cars, doing those big things that you just explained, but ideally when you look at their financials, they're struggling because the money that was meant for food was taken to fuel the car. The money that would have been meant for school fees was taken for holiday.
Yeah.
So ideally, from an ideal perspective, you'd think this person is really thriving, but the basic needs that they need are not achieved.
Yeah.
So that person is not really financially stable. So financial stability in marriage would mean that you're able to meet the needs of your family, and then now you can start thinking of what do we prioritize next after those needs. And I think that's why we are here today, because you need to have those financial conversations. As a family, agree what is our priority.
So even before we get to that, I think also needs are different based on family. You can be talking about someone who is able to meet their needs. There are people who would say, my need is, managing to fuel my BMW CX. Not CX. CX
Now you're
is
mixing
Mazda
different roles. Clearly, are you financially stable? Because clearly you're mixing the brands.
So
yes.
Yeah, like I was saying, there are people whose needs are quite different. There's someone who would say, when I'm going to Mombasa, I must fly. There's someone who would say, I must drive.
Yes.
There's someone who says, I must use a train. There's someone who says, I'm going to use the bus. And another one will say, no, the bus is too expensive for me, I'm going to use a kawaida matatu.
In another scenario, that person who uses the bus, you'd find them speaking very negatively about the person who uses the plane.
Yes.
Not knowing that this person using the plane can actually go to Mombasa in 45 minutes, handle his business, make his money, and come back. And you're still traveling on bus because the bus is 8 hours. So really.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say with this scenario is it shows you that also when you say that you need to meet your needs, I think needs also needs to be defined.
Yes,
in
exactly.
Every family. You need to define what is a need according to you.
Yes.
Because a need to you may not be a need to me.
Exactly.
And needs needs nowadays are not just the basic needs. Life is not just about food, shelter, and clothing. There's more to
beyond,
that.
yeah.
There's actually more to that because we live in places, probably we have to travel.
Security.
You need things like electricity, and needs need to be defined based on your environment and who you are, and also your finances also need to define your needs. So now, as we go back to this context of family, I know there are a lot of things a lot of challenges, a lot of marriages that have broken as a result of
financial struggles.
Yeah, financial struggles. You get one person gets sacked, and that marriage has to go down, because you are not meeting my needs. I don't think this man really cares. Sometimes it's very hard for men also to get jobs, especially formal jobs. And some ladies are not patient with them. There are some moments when your salary is too low, and probably the lady does not appreciate that. You also get a man who has a lot of insecurities. I don't trust that you can actually have a lot of money than me and still respect me, So a lot of turmoil and problems that bring conflicts that could lead to separation.
Yeah.
And some people also they are not separated, but the life they are living is not quality because they made the wrong decisions financially probably, and they are stuck, so much stuck.
Well, I'd also want to say laziness should not be an excuse. Because that also happens a lot.
That's a critical...
Yes. You lose your job, God forbid it happens, or your incomes are just affected in a way, and you feel like you guys need to be sorry for me, so I'll sit at home and wait for this other partner to be bringing. So assuming that is the man that you're saying is the head, but he's not doing anything to make it work. So bring something small, show some effort, Laziness should not be counted as part of this particular conversation.
I actually accept the bit of laziness. Yeah, but sometimes also there's also an element of pride for the man.
But what do we do when there's pride? My kids need to eat. The house needs to be paid.
But you have a job and you're the woman.
I have one, yes. But now you're stuck with pride. What do we do about pride?
I'm looking for a good job that is worth my status.
No way. Meanwhile, what do we do? And that's a conversation people need to handle in every home.
Okay.
What do you do in the interim? Yes, you're looking for a good job, and it is my prayer as your wife that you get that good job. But in the meantime, what is your plan B?
You want me to go to Mjengo?
Yes, if you have to.
Okay. That's
You see?
interesting.
You
Men
see now?
out there, we want to get your opinion on this.
Yes, so pride can be a problem. Allow me to use your career as an example.
Okay.
You're a communication person, and say that formal job is not coming, and the Mjengo job is what is available. Mjengo is what you can define it. There are people who are actually making it in that industry.
Yes.
So if you look at it as a mason that will go every day to now build it, and you're not looking at it as, I can actually build this to be an empire and have a construction company and run the communications in that that's a plan.
Yes.
You do not have to be stuck in that job that you so-called that is not bringing a lot of pride, but you can have a plan that this is short-term, this is where I am, and I'm working towards something.
I actually agree with you, but I also want you to know that it's not easy. Like for instance, I want to give an example. There's someone who's been working as a manager in the company, and they are earning the 6-figure salary. Lots of money, they have security, they have the privilege of driving big cars, and then this person loses their job, and they are tarmacking for almost 2 years, and before this person gets to terms with them possibly going to do, when I'm talking about Mjengo, I'm not talking about big time construction and you're the contractor. No, I'm talking about someone being mtu wa mkono, which means you're going to earn like 600 shillings
a day.
A day. So that's where the element of pride comes in. So, but I want us to get into trying to look this marriage, this couple, these human beings who are living together and they are having financial challenges and there is a fight, there is strain, okay, financially. What do we do? What do you think are some of the things that couples can do to try and come out of these situations?
Okay, I will give two perspectives. From the financial perspective, as someone who's been in the field, but also I would give a practical scenario where practically you'd want someone who's futuristic in terms of they have goals, they have something that they're working towards. Yes, we understand that you're in this situation which we had not pre-planned, but again, you also need to be very optimistic in terms of you coming out of that situation. And that is why your partner comes in to support you. Because how do I support when there's no plan? And unfortunately, this has to come from you as the person who is aggrieved. There has to be an initiative from you. Because again, as your wife, assuming it is the husband that has been affected, the wife cannot come and tell you, now go, wake up and go and do something. It has to come from you saying, I've thought this through and I'm thinking this is what I can do right now. Can you support me in this? And that's where the support will come in. So practically, we would want the person who's aggrieved, yes, we'll sit down, we'll cry about it, we'll feel bad about it, but at the end of the day, we need to get to a place of saying now it is time for us to stand up and do something. Now that something, the initiative has to come from the person who's actually feeling it, and then the support will come from this other partner. When I bring the professional aspect of it, we usually say, try to have savings while you're earning. Savings that can cushion you when you come to such a situation. Well, I'm earning this, whatever figure salary that I'm earning. It could be 2, it could be 3 figure, it could be 6 figure, whatever amount I'm earning. There's always a portion that you can put aside for saving. And this amount that you're putting aside for saving, what are the rainy days that you save for? Because everyone is told, save for a rainy day. But what exactly is this rainy day? Rainy day is when I'm not able to meet my needs, but I need something to cushion me as I work out on a plan. So when you're earning it, don't eat everything. You know, these stomachs that we have will always be hungry. Yes. So if you feel like you want to eat everything, it will tell you, fine, let's eat it.
So save while you can.
Yes, while you can, save what you can. And we are saying saving does not have to start with a big figure. You start small and you grow it gradually. Find a way of saving, and maybe we can have a day of talking just about the saving options that we may be having, but save it in a way that this money is not easily accessible. Because again, and practically in all homes, we will save, say I'm saving 1,000, 2,000 every month. Then tomorrow, my child comes home and says, I need something for school. And you'll think, hey, this is the rainy day. Let me go bring this money, you know. So save in a way that whenever I need this money, it is not easily accessible. Yes, so that it can help you to control and only access it when you feel this is the last option. I'm at that point and I now need these funds. Yes.
There's also this aspect of transparency. There are people who've been married for a long time and one or your partner does not know
what
you earn and how you spend your money. What's your take on that?
That's deep. You know, every family is different, but transparency has always worked. I've not seen situations where, maybe they're there, you remember like the instance we were talking about, there's been a salary cut here or a job loss here, and imagine such a scenario, yet you are not transparent to your spouse. So how do you start saying, I no longer have a job, and by the way, they've never even felt the presence of your money in the home. Whether you have it or you don't have it, it's never coming home. So now that you've lost it and you want to come back home, so how do we handle it? Try doing the same to someone who was transparent and was bringing money home and saying, now, this is what I have. Let's prioritize our things. Let's see what we can use our money for, you know. And then when that money is no longer there, then it's easier for you to come home and say, hey, this salary that I was earning, because of ABCD, it's no longer there. Then both of you will embrace it as a family, as a unit, you know, because we've been through this together. So transparency is one thing that is causing issues in homes on matters finances, because people do not want to disclose how much are they earning. And because they're the ones who actually wake up every day to earn that money, they do not want to be questioned on how to utilize that money. But unfortunately, when you've gotten to a place where you're saying we are now a family, we are now a unit, transparency needs to be there. And if at all you need money for your own things that will not be questioned, put it on the budget. Say that this portion of your income, we will not ask you what you do with it.
Before we get to the budgeting bit, because that's what I want us to talk about next. There are people who've still, like we said, you come from the background of my money is my money, your money. I think what we advocate for, like you said, as Lighthouse, is transparency. But you guys can agree on what you think works for you. Whatever works for you is okay. But I also want to say, Can you visit the unclaimed assets? Is it a board or what?
Yes, there's an authority called Unclaimed Financial Assets.
Yes.
And all financial institutions are supposed to declare any monies that have not been claimed for within that year. And not just money, because assets could be properties, could be shares, shares in companies. Anything that you call an asset that has not been claimed for should be declared back to the government. And we all know what happens when it goes back to the government.
So when you look at, when you visit that place,
there's a lot of
when
money.
you visit that site, there's a lot of unclaimed money. There are people who die with money and properties that are not known to their family members, not known to,
and it's sad because maybe they're actually struggling somewhere, because when one person passes on and now you are a single parent and probably you're struggling and there's money out there.
Yeah.
Although now there's a lot of transparency, and it's good that we also tell people you can actually go and search.
Yeah.
If you have the ID numbers of your partner or someone, maybe it could be your parent, you can actually go to that website and search, and it will be able to show you all the assets, and then now there's a procedure to go and claim for it. Yes, at least now there's that transparency. But what we are saying, you can avoid all that by actually just being transparent from the word go, and then they would make good use of it when they need it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think be transparent with your partners. That's what personally I think is it's quite important, because trust needs to grow in the marriage so that you can also openly talk about what you have.
Yes.
So I think also as we work towards getting to transparency, let's also work towards building trust so that people at least can be transparent.
That's true. It's a two-way thing, because some people will say, I can't declare this to my partner. Because they will actually
they'll kill me.
They'll look for a way of eliminating me so that they can claim these things actually.
Yeah.
But when it gets to that point, have someone in your corner. Could be your parent, your sibling. Have someone who knows, if I am not there, this is what we have. But we are praying that as a family unit, you do not have that kind of a spouse. If you have, get other solutions.
Quick question, guys. Can you please tell us in the comment section, do you trust your partner? Can you tell them what you
Maybe
own?
they will answer with an anonymous account.
No. There are people,
because that can bring other issues.
Kenyans are open. Okay, so moving on to the next bit of budgeting. Because I know there are couples who do not budget together. People who do not, they don't sit down and budget with whatever money they have. They just agree, wewe utakuwa
lipa maji,
mimi nitakuwa niki. You don't know how much this person earns. Once they pay that, whatever extra money, So what's your take on this?
Well, if it works for you, we are not saying stop it because it's working. But if it's not working, come back to the drawing board. Sit together. I think what I personally advocate for, you can have, for purposes of this session, let me call it financial dates. Just go, the two of you somewhere, sit down, say today we are talking our finances. I'm in debt here, you're in debt there. I am supposed to do ABCD as a priority. You're supposed to do, maybe you want to go to school, I want to do ABCD. Come with your priorities, I come with mine. Sit down and agree on what would work for the family unit. Because if you're oriented towards moving together as a unit, that is very important. That you actually set financial goals together and agree on how to achieve them.
So I think one aspect of budgeting, just like you said, there are people who do not have unified financial goals. So if your financial goals are not the same in the family, then it means it's also going to be very hard for you guys to budget together. So before you get to that point of also budgeting together, I think just like you said, it's important for you to agree this is what we want to achieve.
This
as
is
a
the
family.
direction we are moving.
Exactly.
in. Yeah.
This is what we want to do. This is what we want to get. We want to build a house in 10 years. We want to start this kind of business. We want to take our child to, So when these financial goals are unified, then it means you'll also sit down and plan.
Yes. And you see, what really hurts most families is because I stay in a particular estate and my neighbors are taking their kids to this specific school, and I'm thinking if mine goes to a different school, I would look bad. But you do not know how their financial plan looks like. Yes, so I end up taking my kids to that school and struggle with debt because actually I can't achieve that.
You can't achieve
school
whatever.
fees,
So when it gets to that, when you do not have unified financial goals, then it means you'll be struggling to keep up with the Jones.
Yes.
And
very
you lose
hard task.
focus. And eventually there becomes a problem. So I think, like you're saying, it's important for couples to sit down and budget together. Bring all the money. This is what we earn from this direction. You don't need to have a joint account, but the transparency that we talk about, be transparent enough and budget. Okay, I like that bit. So so maybe a few budgeting tips as we move on to the next bit. What do you think, a few budgeting tips you can give us?
I think we've tackled some of those.
Yes.
We've talked about transparency. We've talked about having that discussion prior to even getting to marriage. Talk about how you'd want to handle finances. And then now get to the budgeting bit where you need to define what are needs according to us. Not according to our society, according to our families. Me and you. What are our needs? Yeah? Then define what are those things that we are looking forward to achieve beside those needs. Then plan. So I want to go back to school. I want to achieve my whatever degree or my coursework to be done within the next 3 years. So meaning we'll need school fees and we'll need to still pay fees for our kids. So how do we plan towards that? It means we either need to save here or find a side hustle there, just look for ways of achieving that goal together. So define what your needs are, then define what your financial goals are. So you brought your goals as an individual, I brought mine as an individual, and we agree what are we starting with as a priority and how do we get to achieve every other thing. Because again, we're not saying disregard what your partner wants to achieve as an individual, because then conflict comes in. They'll start putting money aside privately to achieve that goal because you thought it is not important. Or they'll start getting into debt privately without you knowing. We've had instances where the partner is called and told, hey, so and so took some money from us and they're not paying. And you have no idea when that money was taken. You have no idea what was the security. Maybe it's even your house or your car.
Auction happens.
Yeah, you do not know where this money went to. And now you're in it. Or we've had people who actually are paying rent to the house that is owned by the wife or the husband, and you do not know. So meaning, if you do not agree on a particular direction together, it's going to bring conflicts. And then we'll go back to that place that we started from. Conflict resolution. And when you look at it keenly, it is because we did not agree on how to use our finances. So talk about them openly, discuss what your goals are, discuss how you want to achieve them, and plan.
Guys,
Yes.
communication is also key in financial management.
Yes, communication is actually everywhere.
Yeah, if you don't openly talk about these things and address them, then it means you're going to get into a deep. So I want us to look at this individual, this person who is already in problem, this couple who are already in this financial turmoil.
Yes.
This marriage that is almost breaking up
Because of finances.
And they're already at that point where they are really struggling. What are some basic tips that we can give them to try and keep afloat?
That is where we come in. Yes. Consult us.
Yes.
What you're saying, get a financial consultant. You see the way you'd get sick and go to hospital.
Okay.
People disregard financial consultancy. So we are saying, come with your books and every debt that you have and everything that you're struggling with financially, and go to a financial advisor and say, this is where I am. I need guidance on how to come out of this or how to achieve ABCD, and someone will walk you through. But beyond that, we're also saying we should normalize the budgeting we just talked about. We should normalize communication. We should normalize openness about your finances, because we never know when this element of being open will save us. Yeah. So again, financial consultancy is all round. The banks that you go to where you save your money, the circles that you save your money from, you even have friends who are in the financial sector. Talk to someone. Probably that is where you'll get your solution from. Yeah.
Talk to some. It's very important for you to look for help. And many of us do not ask for help.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to matters finances.
Yeah.
And you think you're a guru. There are people who've gone to school to study financial management as a degree, as a diploma. They've mastered it, and they can
even doctorate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they can help you get in out of the problem that you're in, and make it practical. You know, I think if you're not intentional, then things will not change. Just like you said, let's be very intentional about this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We have come to the end of our podcast today. We have learned the importance of communication in trying to solve our problems. It's also important for us to have shared goals as couples in marriage, so that we come out of, because when we have shared goals, then it means we are going to work hard to ensure that we are meeting these goals together.
Yeah.
We are going to save, we are going to plan, we are going to budget, we are going to talk, we are going to be careful not to get into a dip. So a few verses in the Bible, like Deuteronomy reminds us that Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us that God gives us the ability to produce wealth. So we can actually produce wealth. So and then Proverbs comes and reminds us that we need to honor God with our possessions. Okay, and it's important for us to also be content with what we have, and not to be tempted or desire to try and get rich quickly by using ways that are going to lead us into problems. We need to try as much as possible to wear ourselves out of the get rich quickly attitude that most of us have. So let's gain wealth slowly, with a lot of honesty, and remember that wisdom saves for the future. Wisdom saves for the future.
Yes.
That has been
a wise man will leave an inheritance for their children's children. Yeah.
That's a very heavy one. Have you left inheritance for your children's children? Even those who do not have children right now, are you working towards ensuring that they have an inheritance? That has been the Lighthouse podcast. Thank you so much, Steffi, for the insight you've brought in professionally. They need to pay us for...
Or at least watch, share, and subscribe. That's the least they could do.
Yes. And you know what that does? It is going to continue to help us to give you content that is meaningful and helpful for you. Please dial that button. Share, subscribe, and also make sure you watch all the whole episode. And even the others, because I tend to think that most of them are connected. Yeah. Exactly. So thank you. Thank you so much. Adios.